One Saturday morning, Toby was still sleeping and Kemi was cleaning the house. She opened the cupboard to take out old things and clean it out. She mistakenly knocked down the bottle containing the love charm and it broke. She didn't take it serious because it has been 8 years of great relationship. She felt it was nothing. As she came into their bedroom, Toby woke up, looked at her and asked, "Where am I? What is going on here?" Kemi was shocked. The love spell has been broken. Hi. My name is Uncle Sam. Before we get deeper into this story, please subscribe, like, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you can be notified once we drop a new story. Thank you. Once upon a time, in a big city in Africa, lived a young beautiful lady named Kemi. Kemi is very beautiful and intelligent, but life has not been fair to her, so she ended up a prostitute. Kemi's dream was to become a nurse, but life made it impossible for her to achieve her dreams. But there was no backing down with Kemi. At night, Kemi will stand on the streets looking for men that would take her home and pay her for her services. During the day, Kemi, who is a student of Lennox University, will be in class studying. Her life was a difficult one, but she was determined to achieve her dreams. So for the past 3 years, since Kemi was kicked out by her auntie and her children, she has been using prostitution to pay her bills and send herself to school. One evening, as Kemi was standing on her usual spot, a young handsome man named Toby came to her for the night. Toby is so good looking that Kemi was confused, wondering why such a handsome guy would not have a girlfriend, but seek the services of a prostitute. That night, as they got to the hotel, they took some drinks at the bar. Before going into the room, Toby looked depressed, so Kemi had to ask what was going on with him. He told her he lost his job and his wife, who now has more money than him, has been maltreating him, so for him to get some peace of mind, he had to leave the house sometimes, and that is why he's here, because she has also refused to sleep with him. Kemi had pity on Toby. As they got to the room that night, Toby slept off and never touched Kemi. She was shocked to see he paid her the full money the next day, and thanked her for spending time with him. As Kemi got home that morning, she was not her usual self. She had a strong liking for Toby and couldn't get his face off her mind. 2 weeks passed and one evening Toby came again to her. This time he was already drunk. They went to the same hotel and Toby slept off again. The next morning Toby offered Kemi her money, but she refused to take it. Toby begged her to take the money, but Kemi refused. She has developed feelings for Toby and she pitied his condition. She asked Toby, "Since you don't have a job, how do you get money to afford this hotel and to pay me?" Toby smiled and said to her, "You are far too kind to be a prostitute. How did you end up with this kind of job?" As she wanted to answer, Toby said, "You don't need to explain yourself to me. I'm sorry for speaking to you that way." Kemi's heart melted. Toby continued, "But as for my money, my friend Deji helps me out here and there, when I need anything." Toby thanked her for the night. It was obvious he just wanted someone to talk to and be around like a companion. He left the money on the bed as he walked out of the room and went home. Kemi sat there for a while speechless. It has been a long time since she felt someone who came to sleep with her, look at her with more than just a prostitute. It was obvious she had fallen in love with Toby and didn't know what to do. As she left the hotel that morning, after attending lectures at school, Kemi went straight to see her friend Rose. Rose was also a prostitute and a very good friend to Kemi. She has been the one looking out for Kemi and encouraging her to get her degree and leave the streets, that it is not meant for her. Rose advised Kemi to use a love charm on Toby. At first, Kemi refused and said Toby is married, but after several discussions, Rose managed to convince Kemi, telling her that Toby hates his wife and his life, according to the story she just told her. So Kemi reluctantly agreed, and immediately, Rose took Kemi to go see her barber, the man who does charms in that community. They came back with the charm and the barber told Kemi, if she wants to use the charm on any man, she must do it in a house, not a hotel, and she must make sure the bottle that contains the charm must never break. Kemi agreed. As time passed, Kemi and Toby meet several times and finally had sex, but the more they meet, the more Kemi falls in love with Toby. While for Toby, he just likes to hang around Kemi because she is lively to be around, so when he is with her, he will talk the whole night. In one of their meetings, Toby told Kemi that he has been married for over 2 years, but his wife cannot fall pregnant, that she has problem with her womb and still she treats him like trash. Anytime Kemi visits Rose, all she will do is to push Kemi into using the charm on Toby, that he is not happy with his marriage, she might as well take over. 6 months passed and one evening, Toby came to see Kemi at her work. That night, Rose was also working. Toby told Kemi he didn't have enough money for the hotel, that they should just go and drink, that he liked hanging out with her. Rose pushed Kemi and Kemi suggested they go to her house and Toby agreed. That night, Kemi used the love charm on Toby and the next day, Toby woke up and was completely in love with Kemi. He couldn't get his hands off her. He started staying more at Kemi's place and finally Toby's wife divorced him because she found out he was cheating on her. Toby fully moved in with Kemi, and a month later, he got a good job and Kemi stopped prostitution and focused on finishing her studies. 1 year later, Kemi graduated and Toby proposed to her on her graduation day, and they got married. 8 years passed. Toby and Kemi now have 2 children, a boy and a girl. They were a happy family. They did everything together. Toby's friend Deji always tells Toby how lucky he is to have met a beautiful girl who changed his life forever, although he knew she was once a prostitute, but believes love can be found anywhere. Toby and Kemi became a power couple in their society. They were the most perfect couple in their community. One Saturday morning, Toby was still sleeping and Kemi was cleaning the house. She opened the cupboard to take out old things and clean it out. She mistakenly knocked down the bottle containing the love charm and it broke. She didn't take it serious because it has been 8 years of great relationship. She felt it was nothing. As she came into the room, Toby woke up, looked at her and asked, "Where am I? What is going on here?" Kemi was shocked. The love spell has been broken. She tried to explain but Toby was not having it. He took his clothes and left the house in a hurry. He called Deji and they met. Deji was shocked to have learned Toby was under a love charm all these years. He didn't really believe the story, so he asked him, "What can you really remember?" Toby said, "I can remember I had a big argument with Lisa one night, so I went to spend time with Kemi to cool off. She said we should go to her place and we went, that's all." It turned out that Toby has missed 8 years of his life. Deji filled him in and told him how Lisa divorced him because of Kemi and how they have been living as a happy family. Toby said he will arrest Kemi but Deji stopped him. He told him for the sake of his kids. Toby said, "I don't have any kids. I don't even know who those people are. I don't know anything about Kemi, her family, or who she really is. How can you allow me marry a prostitute?" Toby asked Deji. Deji kept quiet for a while and replied, "My brother, I have never seen you as happy as I did with Kemi. Maybe it was all part of the love spell, but for the first time in my life, I also wished I can find a prostitute like Kemi. I would gladly marry her. I need someone that can prostitute me like that." Days passed and Toby filed for a divorce. Kemi cried for days. Her friend Rose comforted her, but they could not tell the kids why their father was no longer coming home. One day, Toby called Kemi to meet so they can sign the divorce papers. The lawyer was present but Toby asked him to excuse them for a while so they can talk. Toby asked Kemi, "Why did you do this to me?" Kemi said, "From the first day we met, I fell in love with you. Your kind heart and the way you spoke and treated me made it more impossible for me to keep my feelings away. You were the ideal man I wished to spend the rest of my life with. So my friend pushed me to use the charm on you. That was why I did it." Toby asked, "Why didn't you just try to talk to me, to know if we could work something out?" Kemi said, "Would you have dated a prostitute or even think of marrying one?" Toby kept quiet, then he asked, "So why would such a beautiful lady like you go into prostitution at the first place?" Kemi replied, "My parents died in a car accident many years ago, so I lived with my auntie, my mother's younger sister, but she maltreated me until she said she could no longer take care of me and kicked me out of the house, so I ended up in the street. That was how I met Rose. She took me in and introduced me to that life. I never wanted to go into prostitution, but I had no other choice. I had to, so I can be able to train myself in school, and you see now I am a qualified nurse and no longer a prostitute." Toby said, "You stole 8 years of my life. If not for the DNA test, I wouldn't believe those kids are mine, but they are. I don't think I can ever forgive you for that. Take the divorce paper home and when you sign it, drop it at the lawyer's office." He stood up and left. Hello guys, are you enjoying the story so far? Tell me, if you were Toby, what will you do if this happened to you? And if you were Kemi, would you sign the divorce papers? Leave your thoughts on the comment section. Let's get back to the story. A month passed and Kemi signed the divorce papers and dropped it at the lawyer's office. But Kemi never gave up on the love she shared with Toby. It might be a charm for him, but it was real for her because she loved Toby genuinely. Every night she would stand and look out the window, praying and hoping Toby would come home like he just came back from work, but it never happened. The children kept asking when their father was coming back, but Kemi kept telling them that he traveled out of the country. We will be back soon. 6 months passed and both Toby and Kemi had gotten a divorce. Toby had moved on with his life. He now lives alone in an empty apartment all by himself, but his mind was still occupied with Kemi and the kids. He couldn't concentrate at work, so he decided to work from home. As each day passed, the memory of his life with Kemi and the kids became clearer, how he used to love playing with his kids, especially his little daughter. But after a while he would tell himself, that was not me, it was the charm working. He tried dating again, but he wouldn't see himself being with another woman. It was like no other woman could give him the joy and satisfaction he had with Kemi. After a while Deji came to see him. He told him that he is miserable and he needs to go back to his wife and kids that they love and miss him. That since Kemi came into his life became better. He got a job and got promoted to a managerial position in less than 6 months. That Kemi made a mistake, but he was glad she did, because she made him a happy man. Whether love spell, charm or whatever, he saw real happiness in his friend's eyes. And now it's all gone. Toby said, "I don't know what is real anymore. Instead of me going back to those people, I'd rather take a leave and travel outside the country. I need to go and clear my head." Deji told him, "Well, I have done my best," and he left. After 2 days, Toby bought a ticket, booked a flight to travel out of the country. The day came for him to leave and he took an Uber and was heading to the airport. Kemi was in the house and the kids were playing outside. There was a knock at the door. As Kemi opened the door, she saw Toby standing there with their little daughter who was playing outside. He said to her, "I was on my way to the airport, but I don't know how I ended up here. Kemi, I am sorry. I know I belong here. Life has not been the same without you and the kids in it. Please forgive me." Kemi hugged him with tears in her eyes and said, "I am truly sorry for messing with your life. It will never happen again." And they entered the house together. 3 months later they got married again. Story ends. Moral of the story: Don't judge a book by its cover. People are going through a lot out there. Number 2. Women, respect your husbands, or else you might lose them. A man will always choose a home where he is loved and respected. I remain Uncle Sam. Stay safe.